Charlie, on that notion, Charlie Gasparino, we got a lot of financial ties, right? So
right.
What happened?
Lots. And, not just the government itself, but all our major businesses, our banks, our private equity funds.
And all that.
Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock, runs $7 trillion of money. A lot of it is, he's done a lot of business in the Middle East. And that's the biggest money management company in the world. Here's the interesting thing. So yesterday we reported, and we got this from inside the White House, so confident about it, that Pompeo, as early as yesterday, was going to provide some meat on the bones on this thing. Exactly what went down, or at least some semblance of what went down, where we can draw a conclusion about the royal family's involvement.
And then he reported, that's
Yeah.
why he wants to meet with Pompeo, because
Right.
if anyone would have seen such a thing when he was in town, it
Right.
would have been Pompeo.
Now, remember, Pompeo he was in Saudi Arabia. He's going to Turkey now. From what we understand, where the incident, where the journalist Khashoggi was obviously murdered, what we are getting now from the White House is that if he does a statement, and it's still, it's up to him. This is all a moving target. It could come Thursday, so that'll be tomorrow. And we could see then get some sort of an indication of what went down and what the royal family's involvement, if any involvement is, or how tangential it was.
Right.
Was it a rogue group that are loosely associated with the current Crown Prince, MBS, I'm sorry. Is it, totally rogue? Is it, were they on orders from him?
By the way, let's say he goes. There are many in the royal family. And then, he seems to be the most, evolutionary figure. Theoretically. But you might not solve this problem if you don't like the way the kingdom acts by getting rid of him. Right?
My point with him is, if you think about it, if you're going to do something like this, this brazen, he's on camera, different country, you're killing him in that other country. If you're going to do that, you can't get caught. And it strikes me as such a dumb thing to do, because he's on camera. Turkey is no friend. You're on their soil. It is your consulate, but it's on your soil. There are cameras spy cameras on that.
But doesn't that say something? You and I can remember the old Columbo series. If it's so, like, the whole world says, obviously Saudi Arabia did this.
Right.
This guy has a checkered past where he's a hypocrite in jails and imprisons his own brothers and cousins.
Oh, who? Which one?
The Crown Prince.
Okay.
So you could make an argument that, well, it's not surprising given his past, but it would be very surprising, media savvy as he is, that
or just savvy, if he is savvy.
Or savvy. So you could raise a question.
He might be arrogant and savvy. He may think he can get away with anything, and he's rich enough he can do whatever he wants. And if that's the case, then from just a policy standpoint, and I can tell you the guys on Wall Street are thinking this, even though there's tons of money over there. Do you want to get in bed with someone who's this brazen, erratic, and like thoughtless? that was, take it from me. We grew up in New York. John Gotti killed Paul Castellano in front of Sparks Steakhouse in I think it was 85, right?
His photograph.
It took years to nail him on that. And he was in the middle of the night.
But you see my point that whatever you think of this guy and all the questionable, arrogant, and over-the-top things he's done, including, remember when he imprisoned all these fellow princes in a hotel lobby for months.
And it was a shakedown.
It was a shakedown. They all had to give money to Jamal and all the others.
Yeah.
So you could make the argument, it would make sense, it wouldn't surprise. But it would be such an idiotic thing to do.
So
part
idiotic.
of you should think,
maybe it's not him.
Hold off.
Yeah, well, that's my point. But if he did it, if we got good...
Yeah, I mentioned the Columbo example. The younger people had no idea what I was talking about. They thought I was talking about...
Well, because my mom loved Peter Falk, so I had to watch Columbo this series.
We had one eye.
Remember he had the one eye?
It was wild. So if we follow up, if we get proof that the kingdom is behind it, the Crown Prince was behind it, and we start, then what?
Well, then from a public policy standpoint, you got to say, do we want to get in bed with people that are this stupid? That is not a guy you want. Let's just say
that should not always be the barometer here, right?
Yeah, because we have to do business with him, and there's got to be somebody else smarter than him if he's going to do something this brazen, this erratic. It's a really dumb thing. Again, John Gotti killed a guy in the middle of the night. It took 10 years. Lots, and they were flipping guys.
We can't pick and choose the leaders we want based on who we deem to be
eligible. We have a lot of stroke. Trump runs around every day saying how much stroke we have with the Chinese. They need us more than them. There's a degree of that. That doesn't mean we can pick and choose, but that doesn't mean we can't exert our influence and say, maybe there's a better crown prince than this dude.
Sometimes the devil.
Maybe someone's worse. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not.
You're seeing things through the prism of a bad Godfather movie.
I'm also seeing things that, I mean, a journalist went into a consulate to get his paperwork for his marriage, apparently, and never came out. And, this whole thing about the beheading that came out in this tape and everything, that's been rumored for a while. We never reported because it was just, it was bouncing around the ether. It was, it was on social media and stuff. And I've heard it tangentially.
And there are a lot of things purporting to be reliable information on social media, but it's not been verified. Every morning I got to check it. What's been verified? Who's been verifying stuff?
Of course.
Who's been sharing stuff? And they might be lying.
Okay, so maybe
the president might be misrepresenting things a little bit. I haven't seen a tape that.
Okay, he wasn't beheaded, but where is he?
Right.
Okay, so I think that takes precedent. And this conference is coming up. It looks like it's going to be Mnuchin talking to, I don't know, who's going?
Yeah, the International House of Pancakes.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's
all right. You're the best, buddy. Thank you very, very much. Charlie Gasparino, there's a lot we don't know. We're not apologists for anybody here. I'm just doing that Columbo thing. Wait, before everyone gloms on to stuff, as Charlie can tell you, when it comes to looking at the market, it pays you to sometimes be contrarian, go against the consensus. Think about what everyone is saying, and at least posit saying something else.